what the women want.
Who cares?
What are we drinking?
More of whatever's making you the way you are.
Can you take the long way up? I am really enjoying the view here.
What a great God that made two of you.
You gotta let them know what kind of guy you are. They'll know what kind of girl to be. Take the rest of the afternoon off. We could go to the zoo, see what the animals are up to.
Wouldn't be a sin for us to see your legs. If you pull your waist in a little bit, you might look like a woman.
I can't tell you how many times I've been asked, so what do you do? When I say I work at an advertising agency, most people get the illusion that I work in a world of madmen. But sadly, my day doesn't consist of martini lunches and glamorous meetings with Jaguar and Cartier in a monumental skyscraper gracing the streets of the Big Apple. Things have changed, people. It's no longer acceptable to drink and smoke in the office. The technology has shifted the mentality and motives behind advertising, and the work itself has dramatically changed. So why are women in the industry still living in a Mad Men world? When I was wrapped up in the show Mad Men, which I recommend for anyone in the advertising industry, and for that matter, anyone period, I found myself enchanted with the 60s. The lifestyles of the characters were stylish, and the show itself was so delightfully retro. Yet sadly, the lack of women in power and the way women were treated was very true to the time, and in some ways representative of the world we live in today. A recent piece in the New York Times interviewed dozens of women who hold positions of power in the advertising industry. This expose that followed a recent sexual harassment lawsuit against a company's chief executive reveals these women's experiences working in a man's world. Aside from the obvious issues with the wage gap across all industries, advertising has long been a male-dominated industry. Take the show Mad Men, for example. Although it is mostly a fictional show, the creators did a great job staying true to the time period and portraying important issues of the time, including political, civil, and women's rights movements.
And I don't know if you read in the paper, but they passed a law where women who do the same work as men will get paid the same thing. Equal pay.
It's not a good time.
In March of last year, a female employee of the J. Walter Thompson agency brought forward allegations of the company's chief executive of racist and sexist behavior. A lawsuit swiftly followed. The accusations brought to the surface what women in the industry had talked about for years, that more than half a century after the Mad Men era, gender bias, while often unspoken or acknowledged, continues to affect how they are treated at work, whom they interact with, and what positions they hold.
Who did that?
Did what?
That pornographic drawing.
It's funny.
Really? Would you show it to Lane?
He would think it's funny.
What if it were Dawn on his knees?
See, this is why I don't like working with women. You have no sense of humor.
Today, many women feel the harmful separation exists mainly in the culture that the advertising industry has gotten used to over the years.
Well, you're not the landing party we expected.
Well, I think anyone would be equally interested in the price per unit, which could be reduced significantly if the demand were higher.
Why aren't you in the brassiere business?
Excuse me?
You should be in the bra business. You're a work of art.
Executive Creative Director for DDB Chicago, Jean Bathany, says, "Yes, there is rapey talk and the grabby hands, but it's that subtle stuff that's chronic and can be more damaging. Women executives find it hard to exist amongst men executives during business meetings masquerading as social outings, like when male colleagues go out for steak dinners or watch a sports game together from a box suite. The industry, thanks to Mad Men, is notorious for these escapades that often make women feel invisible. This Mad Men culture also exists in the advertisements themselves. Because only 11% of creative directors are women, this explains why so many ads are supportive of this culture.
One thing I've noticed is that design-wise, and maybe it's just the agencies I've worked at, but design and development-wise are very light on sort of female energy and even strategy. So the higher up you go, the less females there are, for sure.
I think that women are fairly represented in the more junior level of advertising. And that also depends by department. I think you see a lot of women in account service roles and fewer in roles that are strategic or creative. I'm not sure why that is. We need more female developers for sure.
If all the advertising is being created through that dominant male lens, and you look at what the result is, there's a bias in that, and there's only one perspective. Comments on women's appearances is another extremely important issue of this matter.
There have been moments where I've had male bosses tell me I shouldn't hire a female who I'd interviewed because she wore too much perfume or too much makeup. I have had coworkers comment on my appearance or my dress in a way that they never would have commented on a male's appearance or dress.
25% of women in advertising have said that they've experienced gender discrimination in the workplace, and 23% of women have said that they've witnessed or experienced sexual harassment in the workplace. Many things have changed in the advertising industry, but we need to make sure one of those things is the way women are treated.
I think, as with any industry in this country, we have to figure out a way for paid family leave to have a positive connotation instead of a negative one. We have to embrace women who have taken breaks from the workforce. Family life is just as important. Raising a child is just as important, if not a harder job than what we do under this roof.
I think re-entry is hard. I think there is this perception that your skill set is outdated. But at the same time, I think what we need to be thinking about is women's ability to adapt and learn, and maybe some of the technology may have changed, but that doesn't mean that it's not something that can be quickly learned and they can adapt and sort of be reintegrated into the workforce pretty quickly.
Although it is masked by social outings, drinking events, and steak dinners, we need to stop living in a Mad Men world. And in a time of political instability, we need to push more than ever for women's rights and equality.